Now, before we could move on, we would just, I would like to recall whatever we have dealt in the previous session. Okay, we had dealt with different types of lines, and then we started with angles. Angles, we know that angles are measured in degrees, which is shown by a symbol, which is denoted here. And when we try to construct an angle, or when we try to indicate different parts of angles, we even learnt about the uh, two black rays or lines, which are called as arms or rays or even sides. Then we also named as the point where the two rays at, or lines meet, which is here, it is y. This is called as vertex. Then we also found out what is an angle. The turn from the actual placing of the line towards a certain placement, and the space existing between those two lines form a angle. Here the curved red line shows the measure of the turn between the two lines or rays or arms or sides, whatever you want to call it as. This is angle. Now, I hope all of you have recollected whatever we have done it in the previous session, children. Shall we move on? Now, after learning about basics of angles and different parts, or how do we name it, or what is it called, or where is it found, all these things are known till now. Now, how do we measure, or how do we construct an angle? This is also done in the previous session. I'm just recalling it so that we move ahead with the knowledge of the basics, and recollecting whatever we have done it in the previous sessions. Now, this acts as the baseline. We start with the zero line. This acts as the ray which denotes the actual measure of the angle. Okay, this side of the protractor is actually showing 45 degrees, and we started from 0 here. This is the base, and this center point acts as vertex. And when you are doing it on the right hand side, you have to think of the top scale, and if you are doing it on the left hand side, then it is the bottom scale that comes into picture. And you can very well see you actually have to start from 0 degrees. Doesn't actually it's not correct to just say top scale or bottom scale, but you have to start from 0 degree, whichever side you start with. Here 45 degrees is measured as 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and 40 to 45. So 45 degrees is measured here. We will learn the construction and understand different types of angles further and further on in this session. Now, classification of angles. Children, angles are classified into 6 different types. They are right angle, acute angle, obtuse angle, straight angle, reflex angle, and complete angle. Here we usually get to see this first 3 types, that is right angle, acute angle, and obtuse angle, everywhere around us, very commonly found in our environment. But straight angle, reflex angle, and complete angle are you need to do, or you need to concentrate on to find out these kind of angles as such. Angles are usually classified in terms of the turns that the rays have taken from the initial position. We will learn it accordingly in detail, in depth, each type of angle now. No, to start off, how did we construct? We had a ray drawn. I have named it as OA. I will place another ray on this. The first one was the red one, and another ray placed is a blue colored one. So if you see, both the rays are placed in one single position, and I named that as OB. Now, if I have the same line placed and I just move the red line is placed on the uh, floor the same way. I don't displace it. I don't move it. But I move this blue line. I shift it towards towards the north side, that is upwards a little bit, keeping the point O stagnant. I am not moving O point anywhere, but I am moving on the other side, the position where I had named it as B. I am just moving that from its initial position to the next position, which is above that. Now, if you observe, children, there is an angle formed in this area, correct? So, if you can observe, there is an angle formed called AOB. Now, can you identify what this angle is? This is very clearly showing that it is less than 90 degree, isn't it? So 90 degree is usually represented like this, 90 and a dot there, as I explained it earlier. So this happens to be an angle which is less than 90 degree. So from 0 to 90, you have it, from 0 to exactly 89 degrees, we get acute angle. Now these are some of the examples of acute angles. For example, 40 degree. 40 degree, is it less than 90 degrees? Yes. So this is an acute angle. Now in this angle, you can't find out immediately whether it is acute angle or not. Why? Because the baseline is not horizontal as it is for this 40-degree angle construction, correct? It is lying somewhere when diagonally placed on the sheet. So this also is an acute angle, because from this line, this if we consider as baseline, from here how much is the other line displaced is what we need to measure. This angle is 20 degrees. 20 degrees is less than 90 degree, so it is called as acute angle, or this becomes an example for acute angle. Now 75 degree. This also is not actually placed horizontally, correct? So you have to measure keeping the protractor on this line, children. Make sure you have the center of the protractor on this point, okay, and the base line coinciding with this line. Then measure where this point, this line meets on the protractor. If it is 75 degrees, then mention it as 75 degrees. So 75 degrees naturally is less than 90 degrees. So hence it becomes an example for acute angle. I hope all of you have understood this, children. Acute angle is nothing but an angle formed when it is more than 0, less than 90. So it lies in the range of 0 to 90 degrees. Now let's move on to the next type of angle, which is right angle. Now, what's a right angle? A right angle is the one that is exactly equal to 90 degree. Children, if you observe, both the angles, they intersect each other, both the rays that they intersect each other at a particular point where they form an angle which is equal to exactly 90 degrees. Not a degree less, not a degree more. It is exact 90 degree. This angle is called right angle. Children, if you observe this picture, don't you remember another classification which we dealt in the previous sessions? Yes, we even discussed about perpendicular lines. Two lines, when they meet at a right angle, are called perpendicular lines, correct? If I extend this line further down and if I extend this ray further down, then this acts as an intersection point. So this becomes a type of intersecting lines, set of intersecting lines which form right angle at the point of intersection. Okay, so right angle is the one which is exactly equal to 90 degree. Now for the examples of right angles, these are the examples of right angles are 90 degree. There cannot be any other example other than 90 degree because it is exactly equal to 90 degree. But while constructing, see here, if you observe, the baseline is exactly on a horizontal line. It is easier to measure this angle with the protractor than this one. The adjacent one is a bit slant, and the way you need to measure is you need to keep the center of the protractor center line and coincide this baseline with the baseline of protractor, and then measure this line or this point or this angle to be 90 degree. And one more important point is two lines that meet at a right angle are perpendicular. Now the next type is obtuse angle. An obtuse angle is one that is greater than 90 degree and less than 180 degree. Children, if you observe this angle which is constructed on your screen, we start with the red line here, which is horizontally placed, and we have turned or moved this blue ray from, keeping point O as constant or in the same position. Only the other end point, the end where we have labeled it as B, has moved from position A to B. So it has moved so far. While moving, it has crossed 90 degree also. See, you observe this. When it was less than 90 degree, it was acute angle. Exactly at 90 degree, it was right angle. Then it has crossed 90 degree now. But it has not reached 180 degrees. Clear? So the region where the angle is formed, which is greater than 90 but less than 180 degrees, this area gives you or results in obtuse angle. I hope all of you have understood, children. It is very simple. An obtuse angle is one that is greater than 90 but less than 180 degrees. Now here are a few examples of obtuse angle. 110 is an example for obtuse angle. 170 also is an obtuse angle. because it is not equal to 180 degrees. In fact, children, from 91 degrees to 179 degrees, it is called as obtuse angle. Now for the next type, it is straight angle. As the name itself indicates, it's just a straight line which forms 180-degree from its zero baseline. If you observe this, children, see the blue ray was exactly above this when we started, correct? So this is the actual position of the angle or the ray. From this position, it has traveled almost 180 degrees to have the position B here. So from here, it has traveled through acute angle 90 degree, then obtuse angle. Now it has reached 180 degree. Now if you observe, there is one more thing. If you can take out your protractor from your geometry box and compare this line with the line at the base of your protractor. If you observe, you can find 0 degree on one end and 180 degree on the other end. What does that indicate? So you have 180 degree constructed here. So the baseline of the protractor indicates 180 degree, or even I can even say that a straight line, a straight horizontal line indicates a straight angle. Children, don't confuse yourself. There is another type of angle which is called complete angle. We'll deal with that later. But straight angle, in simple terms, it forms a straight line. So straight angle is nothing but an angle which forms 180 degree, which indicates the baseline on the protractor. I hope all of you have understood all these types of angles, children. Now to the next type of angle, which is called the reflex angle. See, if you observe the blue ray, it has passed the horizontal line. Horizontal line happens to be 180 degree, correct? Now it has crossed 180 degree, but it has not come and joined point A, right? That means it has not completed one full rotation. So one full rotation is nothing but 360 degree. Now what do we consider this as? Reflex angle is an angle that is formed when you get an angle which is greater than 180 degree and less than 360 degree. So an angle which is formed between 180 and 360 degrees, this angle is called reflex angle. Did you all understand, children? While constructing reflex angle, you usually have it constructed like you need to add up two angles, complete it till 180, then add the difference of it and then keep the protractor upside down and have the construction done for the remaining degrees or remaining measure when you have subtracted from 180 degree. This is how we do the construction. We will know about this later on in your maybe next classes. For till now, you just need to understand the classification as to what is a reflex angle and what degrees or what is the measure that we look out for in a reflex angle. Now moving on to the last type, that is complete angle. If you observe, children, you have a complete rotation of this circle. It started, this blue ray started from the same position. It went through proper full rotation. then ended up in this same position now. Did you all see this? So a complete angle is exactly equal to 360 degrees. That is, a full rotation is usually called as complete angle. Children, this completes the classification of all the angles. We have started with acute angle, then moved on to right angle, then to obtuse angle, then straight angle, then reflex angle, and finally to complete angle. If you observe, we started with 0 degree, we went complete rotation and came back to 360 degree. All the types fall under the same uh, plane I mean divided into 4 quadrants as such. Children, after learning about all the different types of angles, it is always easier to have it placed or jotted it down. You can jot it down in a tabular column so that it is easily understandable. For example, now I have also formed a table wherein I have had the angle mentioned, the description, that is what it is actually about, then an example. So if you do this, you also have to prepare a chart. It's always better. So if you have a chart prepared like this, it'll always help you or guide you whenever you want to refer it. Now to start off, I have mentioned it as acute angle. Acute angle is nothing but an angle that is less than 90 degrees. Okay, for that an example which is less than 90 degrees, you can take up anything. As I said, from 0 to 89 degrees, you can mention any of them. They will form the acute angle. Now moving on to the next type, it is right angle. An angle that is exactly 90 degree. You can mention it here. You can draw a diagram so that it is easily available as a reference. Now the third type is obtuse angle, an angle that is greater than 90 and less than 180 degrees. So for that you just give an example anywhere from 91 to 179 degrees. You can give any of the angles as example for obtuse angle. I have taken 130 degree as an example here. Then straight angle, an angle that is exactly 180 degrees. So 180 degrees exactly, you will have, you can get straight angle. Reflex angle, an angle that is greater than 180 degrees and less than 360 degree. That is here an example of 308 degrees is being given. So 308 degrees is an example for a reflex angle because it is greater than 180 degree and less than 360 degrees. Full angle or complete angle, as we discussed earlier, is an angle which is exactly 360 degree. When it completes a full rotation, it forms it results in a complete angle. So here it is exactly 360 degree wherein we have completed a rotation. Both the lines coincide on each other, they lie on each other. So this angle is called as full angle or complete angle. I hope all of you have understood, children. It's always better to have such charts in front of you so that it's easily available as a reference. Now again, different angles depicted in different ways. The moment you think of acute angle, which is less than 90 degree, you can depict it like this. You can even have it drawn like this and kept as a reference instead of those tabular column. Right angle exact 90 degree. Here we had acute angle less than 90 degree. Right angle exact 90 degree. Obtuse angle greater than 90 degree and less than 180 degree, straight angle exact 180 degree, reflex angle greater than 180 degree, full rotation exact 360 degree. So this is how you just summarize. See children, there is one more thing which you have to observe when you move on from here. Like we are forming a circle and these are all different stages, correct? So you can just have a circle and divide that into different angles for as per your understanding. But please don't get confused with acute and obtuse angle. Acute is less than 90, obtuse is greater than 90. I hope it's all clear. Any doubts in any of the sessions, any of the concepts, you can just go back to the particular video or particular slide, then pause it and understand that better, children. Please don't neglect any part of this video, because this acts as a basics for geometry, and further on when you learn even more complicated or advanced concepts of geometry, then these are the basics which you will have to use them. If you are not thorough with these basics, it will be very difficult in future to learn. Now for the assignment. Uh, Previous session I had given an assignment of identifying objects around you in your home, and listed down naming as to which type of line does it belong to. Now it is the different types of angles that we have dealt in this session, and I want you to label each one as whether it is acute, obtuse or right angle. Here are few angles which are drawn. With the indication itself, you need to understand which is the type you have been given. And one more thing, children, when you mention the right angle, you have to mention the a square at the corner of the angle representation. That is also important. You have been given different types of angles here. I hope it is all understandable. See, I can just help you with one. In this, if this is the right angle, it is less than right angle, that is less than 90 degrees. Then the type of angle that you have to name. Okay, now here it is, though it is facing downwards, the baseline can be considered here, and your protractor can be placed uh, upside down. Then the 90-degree angle is shown in this manner. Okay, the second one happens to be a right angle. Now similarly, this is beyond 90 degree, that is more than 90 degrees. And this again, if you need to consider this as baseline and try to measure the angle with the protractor. Shall we move on, children? Similar type of drawings drawn, you need to find out what is the angle. Children, make sure you keep your protractor on the baseline, whichever direction it might be. See, when you place this baseline, the vertex or the center of the protractor has to be at point N. N is the vertex. Understood, children? So you need to keep the protractor here and then measure the angle. And when you measure the angle has to start from 0 degree here. Okay? From here we need to start 0. Again, from this you can very clearly note down the right angle symbol here. Okay? There is no ambiguity. Now for this angle, again you need to mention that it is beyond 90 degree, correct? And the same way, keep the baseline on this line and then measure. This also, children, I want you to use your protractor and try to identify. Make sure you keep the baseline exactly on the line which is being given, and the arrowhead should be facing 0 degree on the baseline of the protractor. From there you start counting. Don't start with from 180 degrees. You can find both 0 and 180 degrees. But when you start counting, you start from 0. So when you measure an angle, you have to keep the protractor like this. The center of the protractor will be coinciding with point Z and the baseline with YZ, the line YZ. Now you will have to count from 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, something like this till you reach, I think it is almost 175 degrees approximately. You can verify with your protractor. I hope you have all understood, children. Now, for the solution of this assignment, I would be giving it in the PDF form, which comes along with the video. You can refer that. Before referring that, you please try all by yourself. It is the easiest possible assignment which you could get. You can try. You try it all by yourself. Then use the PDF answers as a checking scale. So you just check whether you have whatever you have done is right or wrong after you have tried. Now, after identifying the different angles, try to classify the measures of angles given below. You are supposed to classify the measures which are given below, say 16 degrees, 180 degree, 88, 179 degrees, 45 degrees, 90 degrees, 100 degrees, 35 degrees, 142 degrees. All these angles are to be classified in the columns given, children. You need to classify what category does it fall under. 16 degrees, you need to classify whether it is acute angle, right angle, obtuse or straight angle. Similarly, for 180 degree, what is it? 88 degree, which classification does it fall under? All these angles are to be put under particular uh, angle classification, classification of angles mentioned in the columns. I hope all of you have understood and all of you will do the assignments by the time we meet in the next session. Now this ends the session on angles. I hope all of you have understood the basic concepts of angles, the different parts of angles, the classification done, and minimal construction as to how you can construct through a protractor. Till we meet again, stay home, stay safe, happy learning, and thank you, children.